Hello, everyone. We are back with Newbie Bite number 22, all about the for loop. Before we begin, I want to talk about some vocabulary. And the first three words that you need to know for sure are iterable, iteration, and the index. So, an iterable is anything that you can loop over, and we'll look at some examples of this in the next slide. Iteration is one execution of the loop. I like to think about this as one step of the loop. And then you're going to loop over all of these until you get to the end of your iterable, whatever it is. And then the index is what helps you keep track of what step you are on. So remember, Python starts counting at 0. So the first time through the loop, you're at index 0. And as soon as you hit the end of whatever your iterable is, then it exits out of the loop. Some examples of iterables are strings, list, tuples, and then dictionaries. There's a little star next to dictionaries. We'll speak more about this in a later video for sure to make sure that you feel nice and comfortable with those. But let's look at the basic structure of the for loop. You have to create some variable or you create some object that you're going to name the things that you're looping over. Then you end it with a colon and you indent the body of the loop. You have as many lines of code as you need to do all of the things that you're trying to do. And then when you're ready to continue outside of the for loop, you have to unindent. So you can see there that last line just says some generic object has some value, but it is unindented. So we say that this is outside of the body of the for loop. Before we jump into a program example, I want to take a look and really break down what the for loop is doing. So here I have a for loop that just says for number in this list, 1, 2, 3, print out number. So I've created the object number because it represents what the items in the list are. The very first time through, it sets number. It assigns the object number the value 1, and then it prints out 1. The second time through the list, the value of number has been now changed to 2, and then it prints out 2. The third time through the list, the value of number is 3. It prints out 3, and we are done. So we have literally iterated over every item in the list. The for loop changes the value of the object number as it moves through each individual item in the list. This is our list of movies from an earlier video, and you can see we've already removed the Batman and we've appended Batman to the end. Let's imagine that we're creating some type of application and I need to be able to list out all of the possible movies that I have. We can do that using a for loop. We're going to say for movie in movies. Then notice that I'm indenting the body of my for loop. And we're going to print out, let's make this an F string, where we print just a symbol or something to let them know that this is going to be a list item. Pass in the individual movie object. And we're done. Let's go ahead and run the code here. So you can see that it's looped over every single item in the list. It's printed out the individual item and then a plus sign in the front. But I think we can actually do a little bit better. Let's change this to title case. And let's add a line before this. Outside of the for loop, we're going to say print and there we have it. Everything's title cased. We've looped over the individual movies. Last thing that I want to point out is this movie object that I've created, it can literally be whatever I want it to be. I get to choose an object name that makes sense in the context of what my code is doing. You can do other things, like we could call this just I, but to me that doesn't make as much sense. Why would I use a single character or something like that when I can actually use a descriptive object name? So let me undo that. I'm going to say for movie in movies, print out the movies. Hopefully this is helpful. Good luck on today's bite.